Hello, my sweet little goblins. My name is Jay and welcome back to my channel. And guys, today I have my August TBR for y'all. And I know that by the time this comes out, it's not necessarily like the beginning of August anymore, but that's the way I work. Honestly, I didn't think I was gonna put out a TBR because I never put out a monthly TBR. I'm very much of a mood reader, and I deviate from TBRs all the time. So we will see how many of these books I get through this month. I've already started reading into the month of August. I've read 3 books, or I've read 2 and I've started on a 3rd. And that 3rd book is Darcy Coates' The Carrow Haunt, and it's basically about the main character Remy. She is a tour guide of sorts and she guides tours through the Carrow House, and one day she gets an opportunity to host a week-long stay to see sort of the paranormal activity in the Carrow House. But of course things start to get weird. This is my first Darcy Coates book and I'm very excited. I love anything that has to do with a haunted house. I just love ghosts in general. So I'm really excited about this book and I'm reading it right now. So this is part of my August, reads, but there's that. So let's get into the books that I hope to get to this month, and they are stacked with spooks. All right, y'all. Cannibals. Yeah, cannibals. Okay, so this is Jack Ketchum's Ketchum? Yes. Ketchum. I don't know why I want to say ketchup every time I try to say his name. Jack Ketchum's Offspring. Now, I have heard so many interesting things about this book. I have been warned about this book for so long that it's extreme horror, and people say that they hope they have this, that I have the stomach for this sort of book, and I am always willing to see how far I can take it in terms of how I can stomach things. So I'm very excited. So what this book is about, we follow a sheriff of the town Dead River, Maine. And I guess 10 years ago, he had supposedly killed off an entire clan, not clown, oh my god, words today, an entire clan of cave-dwelling cannibals. But apparently he did not kill them all off, and they have survived and they have bred, and they are now descending on the town of Dead River, and the inhabitants of Dead River have to fight for their lives. It is not a very long book, and it is one of those like mass paperback, sort of like mass market paperback size, so I imagine this moves very quickly. I'm very excited to get into this because this has been receiving a lot of hype, and it has been for a while. So it's been on my list and I just happened to see it at a used bookstore, and yep, I grabbed it. It had to be mine. So I'm very excited and hopefully I will get to this. This is high on my list. So I know that I started this TBR list with the whole stacked with spooks kind of thing, but my next book actually isn't horror. This is from one of my favorite authors ever, Ann Patchett. So this is Commonwealth by Ann Patchett. And Commonwealth, well, first let me tell you, Ann Patchett mostly does sort of like slice of life books. She does some like more dramatic contemporary fiction, but I think her powerhouse is really just like, I don't know, slice of life contemporary fiction. So in this book, this sort of examines a 50-year span of the intertwined lives of 4 parents and 6 children. There's love affairs, there's humor, there's lasting bonds, there's drama, and honestly, Ann Patchett is just a phenomenal writer. I don't know how to explain it. She writes like you're walking through a dream, but not in like a metaphorical way. You just feel like you're being swept away with her words. Ann Patchett just will remain one of my favorite authors, and I can't wait to get to this. This is a little lower on my list just because I have a lot of good horror on that list, and I know that this is one that I'm gonna want to take my time with, and we're almost already to the middle of August, so we'll see. All right, my next book. So one of the reasons I decided that I wanted to film a TBR list is because I have so many sequels and like just series in general that I have not finished, and I really would like to get through a chunk of them this year. At least read like the part 2s or part 3s of a series. So the next book that I would like to get to in August is Now I Rise by Kiersten White. Now, this is the sequel to And I Darken by Kiersten White. And if you are not familiar with this series, this follows the main character, Lada. And this is a gender-switched take on Vlad the Impaler. So instead of Vlad being a male, an older male, a ruling prince back in the day, a warlord, it is actually a young woman, and she is just as bloodthirsty and as cunning and as cruel as her male counterpart, Vlad the Impaler. Now, this is a historical fiction. There is really no magic that happens at all in this book. But what I love about this is that the characters are just so compelling. The story of Lada is just so interesting, and to know that it's like based off the history of Vlad the Impaler is really fascinating to me. And Kiersten White, honestly, is one of my favorite authors. She does a lot of reimaginings and retellings, and I think she gets a lot of shit about that. And I could see why, but she is a phenomenal writer, and I say keep doing you, girl, because her books are fantastic, and I will continue to be a big fan, and I'm very excited and hopeful that I get to this sequel. So the next book has been on my TBR list for so long. Like, it's been over a year now that I bought this book, and it is Pen Pal by Dathan Auerbach. Auerbach. I don't know how to say his name. I don't even know if it's a he, but yes, Dathan Auerbach. Yikes. I will forever butcher that name. Anyway, this has been highly recommended by anyone and everyone that is a fan of the horror genre. It is a must read for so many people, and I don't know why, but I have really put off reading this book. So basically, it's about a man who starts to reconstruct the hazy memories of his past, and I think his childhood, and what ends up happening is he pieces together a larger picture of absolute horror. And I don't know what that means. I don't have any clue what that means, but it sounds awesome. And I really just, I don't know why I'm such a slacker, why I procrastinate on reading awesome books. I know I'm gonna read this, and I'm gonna be blown away, and I'm gonna be upset that I haven't read it yet. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me, but this is high on the list for this month. The next book that I would like to get to in August is going to be Ring Shout by P. DeJelly Clark. Whew, that name. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So this book has the KKK, it has demons, it has a resistance band called the Harlem Hellfighters, and I am very interested in this. This is another book that comes highly recommended. Everyone seems to love this book, and I'm very excited because it is not very big. I could probably finish it in like a day if I really applied myself and wasn't my normal ADD self. But yeah, I'm excited to get to this. I've heard nothing but excellent things about Ring Shout. All right, the next book is going to be The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. This is another book that has been on my list for a very long time, and it also comes highly recommended by lots of people that I trust, and they can't tell me anything except that I'm gonna love it. So what this book is about is a middle-aged man returns to his childhood home to attend a funeral, and while he's there, he's drawn to a house at the end of the street where he knew a remarkable young girl and her family. And there he starts to reminisce on old memories, and certain strange and dark memories start to come back to him as he sort of pieces together what his childhood was like knowing this family. It sounds amazing. I don't know what to expect, and I've heard that you either love or you hate this book, and I've also heard that the there's descriptions of food, and I'm not gonna lie, I have to admit that that is a high motivator for me in any book, is descriptions of food. So yeah, and this is another short one, so I'm hoping that I can make, you know, some time for this in August. But again, you know, I'm just not about making myself like rush through things. I really want to read and enjoy books. I'm definitely someone who can like close a book and then start another one immediately. My boyfriend is someone who needs like rest in between a book, because he feels still immersed in the world basically. But yeah, I just don't want to rush through any of these books because they all sound amazing, especially this one. The next book is another one that's been receiving a lot of hype, I feel like. I feel like the appreciation for dark academia themes has just like soared to unknown heights recently. I feel like it's been such a popular thing. And so this book came up in my purview and I knew I had to grab it. And it is Katherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. This was recommended to me by one of my very good friends, and she has really exceptional taste in books. She's a little more highbrow than me. Sometimes I just like the cheap thrills, honestly, and she is a little more of a sophisticated reader than I am, but she loved this book. So what this is about, it is definitely dark academia themes. It is about a prestigious liberal arts school that's pushed back into the rural parts of Pennsylvania. So it's sort of like hidden in the woods. And there is a rumor that if you graduate, if you make it through Katherine House, you are going to achieve what you want to achieve in your adult life. The only catch is that you have to basically cut ties with the outside world for the 3 years you are at Katherine House. You don't have access to anyone or anything in your life outside of the Katherine House. Now, of course, because it's dark academia, there's something sinister happening underneath it all. And I just love Gothic themed sort of atmospheres, and this sounds like it's right up my alley. All right, the next book. Now, I know I've said this like a million times already, but it truly is high on my list. Probably next to Offspring by Jack Ketchum, the cannibal book I just talked about. And this is The Deep by Nick Cutter. Now, I have a few Nick Cutter books in my collection, but I've only read The Troop. I have Little Heaven, and I haven't read that either, and I've heard The Deep is excellent. It seems to be sort of everyone's favorite. I've heard a lot of like, someone messaged me on Instagram and said that it made them like sort of hyperventilate in panic. And I know they're being, you know, they're exaggerating, but I'm here for that. I definitely want that vibe. And you know what? The Troop was absolutely that way for me. There were moments when I was reading The Troop that I had to just like put it down because I could not handle what was happening. And I have never read a book like that. And I don't know why I haven't read more Nick Cutter since I read The Troop, because it's probably been a little over a year now. But I don't know. I'm ready for it though. So what this is about is the human population is being decimated by this plague called the Gets. And what happens is that it makes people forget things. Little things at first, like, you know, where your car keys are, blah, blah, blah. But then it starts to make you forget like bodily functions, like how to breathe, that sort of thing. So that's where it becomes really lethal and deadly. Well, researchers have found out that there might be a cure at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. So they set up an underwater research lab, and apparently there is a terrifying evil that lurks beneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean. Y'all, I have a deep, abiding respect for water. I'm not a good swimmer. The deep sea kind of freaks me out. Just the idea of the pressure that can kill you, and then all the strange creatures like the anglerfish. That's a freaky looking fish. Yeah. I have so much respect for water. I don't swim well, like I said, and I don't know. This is just already starting to make me panic. So I'm excited to read this book. Okay, my last book that If I don't get to in August, it won't be a huge deal, but I would love to, is going to be Slu Foot by Brahm. And I only have the advanced copy of this in ebook form. I got approved for an advanced reader copy of it, and it takes place in Connecticut, 1666. Yes, it's a New England tale, and I swear I was so excited when I got accepted to read this book because that setting is so good. It's so good. So what it's about is about a dark spirit called Slu Foot that awakens in a dark wood, I guess near wherever this is taking place in Connecticut. And you know, there's already whispers from the villagers about it. They call it devil and demon, that sort of thing. And our main character, Abatha, a recently widowed woman, turns to Slu Foot for help when she's outcast by the villagers, and basically they end up igniting sort of this battle in the village, basically Puritan versus pagan, I think is what's happening. And that's the drama, that's the tea. I'm excited. One of my favorite movies is The Witch, and I just love the dark sort of like New England folktale vibe that it gave off, and I'm hoping Slu Foot is like this. I'm also hoping it's very engaging from the start, because I'm not very good with ebooks. I don't know what it is, but I cannot commit half as well to an ebook as I would to a physical book. There's something about there's something very like comforting about knowing where you are in a physical book, and I just, even though there are like page markings on my Kindle, it's just not the same. So I'm hoping I can get through Slu Foot, and I doubt that it'll be a bad story. I just have trouble with ebooks. But I'm a power through. I'm a power through. All right, y'all, that is my August TBR. I really doubt that I'm going to get through all these books, but I'm gonna try. I have a family vacation coming up, and I'm hoping to get a lot of reading there. And just like, I've just been really loving reading lately, and that sounds really stupid because this is a book channel, but you know, you go through your ebbs and flows with reading. Sometimes you go at a slower pace, you're more like leisurely, and lately I've just been like trying to plow through some books. Like, I've just been like hungry for books, so I hope that I can keep it up in August. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to let me know down in the comments if you're reading any of these books. If you have read any of these books, let me know what you think of them, and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It really helps my channel, and hit that notification bell so you always know when I've got spooky things coming to ya. Bye, y'all. Every time that when I nom 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 nom.